Om Shanti. This is the Avyakt Murli of 30th of January 1979, and the title is The Method to Attain Liberation is to be liberated from all bondage. Today, on seeing all his lovely, long lost, and now found loving children, Bap-Dada became very pleased. Just as Bap-Dada comes from faraway countries to meet you children, so you children also come from faraway lands to meet the Father. It is only once in the whole cycle at the confluence age that this Alokik Mela, meeting of the Father and you children, can take place. If not now, then never. Bapdada was especially looking at the special inculcation of all of you children. You have been listening to others for many births, but the specialty of this Brahman life, of this spiritual life, is that you become embodiments of divine virtues. So, Bapdada was looking at the results to see whether each of you Brahmin children perform every action after, first of all, stabilizing in the trikaldarshi stage, to see whether you consider the three aspects of time, which means performing actions, knowing the beginning before, the middle, during, and end, the consequence of each action. Then, while performing each act, whether you are playing your part as a detached observer, such actors become those whose forms are worshipped at the present and whose future forms are also worshipped and thereby become examples for many souls. You first become trikaldarshi, then a detached observer, and then an example. What stage have you reached in each of these three stages? Are you following the Father as you saw him in the corporeal form? Any act you perform after first of all becoming trikaldarshi would never be sinful. All your acts would always be pure. When you don't become trikaldarshi, the acts you perform are wasteful and sinful. Similarly, the acts you perform as a detached observer will never bind you souls in any bondage of karma, because the fruit of karma is elevated. You will have a relationship through karma, but not a bondage of karma. While performing actions, you would always experience yourselves to be detached and loved by the Father. Such detached, unique, and lovely souls become examples for many souls. And seeing them, other souls will become karma yogis and become worthy of being worshipped in the future. Have you become like the Father in this way? Have you become a soul free from all bondage? To forge all relationships with the Father means to become free from all bondages. The easy way to put an end to all the many types of bondage of your many births is to have all relationships with the Father. If you are experiencing any type of bondage, it is because you do not have that relationship with the Father. Bapdada was looking at the results to see which bondages you still have, even now. The reason for any bondage of the body is that you haven't forged your relationship of a body's soul with the Father. It means that you have not yet imbibed the awareness of the form of the Father and the body's soul. The first lesson is still weak. The practice of becoming detached from your body within a second liberates you from all the bondages of your body in a second. As soon as you switch on your true consciousness, everything is burnt. Things can be transformed within a second through instruments of science. So too, with the power of silence and your relationship with the bodiless one, all your bondages end. What would be said if, even now, you are still in the first stage of bondage to your body, that you are still in the beginner's class? When some students are not very clever, they stay in the same class for many years. Therefore, this is the final period of this godly study. So, if you are still trying to learn the first lesson of the relationship to your body, then just think what would be said to such students. In which line would they come? In the line of those who attain everything, or those who simply observe? So, you are not still sitting in the beginner's class, are you? It is easy to stabilize in an external religion or to stabilize in your original religion. Your original religion is of being bodiless, that is, of remaining soul conscious. The external religion is to see the form of the body. So which is easier? Do you experience everything to be easy according to your name, an easy Raj Yogi? Or is there a difference between what you are called and what you do? The second bondage is the bondage of the mind. The way to become free from this bondage of the mind is to be constantly manmanabhav. Do you constantly experience this first mantra in your life? You should constantly belong to the one Father and none other. To fulfill this first promise means to become liberated from all bondages of the mind. So, do you know how to fulfill your first promise? Do you only know how to speak about this, or do you also know how to fulfill it? To fulfill your promise means to attain everything. In this too, check yourself to see to what extent you have become free from bondage. Are you constantly free from all attractions and only absorbed in the love of one? Are you constant and are you stable? Are you unshakable or mischievous? What would be said if even now you are mischievous? Even now, when it is the time of retirement age, you are still just a small child. How can there be mischief even at this stage? Are you still enjoying this childish stage? Have you attained your rights of a Brahmin, that is, of being a master almighty authority? When you have all rights, how can you still have any bondages of the body or the mind? What is your practical experience? Constantly remember these three things: trikaldarshi, detached observer, and the result of that is being an example for the whole world. Constantly remember this stage, and you will constantly experience the stage of being free from bondage and liberated in life. A lot of time for making effort has passed by. Only a short time of the small period now remains. Check your results according to the time now. Not much of this period of the time for meeting remains. You have already heard a great deal. To hear means that you have been born as Brahmins through words, and that you are therefore called mouth-born children. You have been listening to this knowledge since you were born, and so what do you have to do now? After hearing this knowledge, you have to become embodiments of it. This is why the last stage is of becoming an embodiment of awareness. To what extent have you attained this stage? What is the result of this season? Has it been simply to listen and meet, or to become equal? Love is proved by becoming equal. You have to reach the stage that the Father would love you to have. You are loving to this extent, are you not? By keeping your perfect stage constantly in front of you, you will find it very easy to confront Maya. This is the result that Bapdada wants to see. In order to attain this practical result, remember two special virtues: sweetness and two, humility. By practicing these two special virtues, you will become a constant world benefactor, a great donor, and a bestower of blessings, and thus easily be able to prove your love. Do you understand what you now have to do? This is what you have to do. However, you also have to let go something. What do you have to let go of because you are knowledgeable? The sanskars of devotion that you still have, of begging as a beggar, simply speaking praise of the Father, wandering everywhere with your mind, and wasting your treasures. Finish all these old sanskars for all time. That is, you have to celebrate the final cremation ceremony of your old sanskars. This is letting go. Do you now understand what you have to do and what you have to let go of? To be a knowledgeable soul means to become victorious. Acha? To those who transform themselves in a second, to those who bring about world transformation through self-transformation, to those who are free from all bondage, bandhan mukt, and liberated in life, jivan mukt, to Bapdada's loving children, that is, those who are going to become equal to him, to such victorious jewels, Bapdada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Bapdada meeting groups personally. Do you constantly consider yourselves to be multi-million times fortunate? What are those who earn an income of multi-millions at every step? They are multi-millionaires, are they not? What are the number one wealthy ones of today be compared to you? In spite of all their wealth, they are beggars, because together with wealth, what else do they have? They also have sorrow. Those who are unhappy would be beggars for happiness, would they not? No matter how famous throughout the world wealthy people may be, compared to you, they are all beggars. A practical time will come when famous, wealthy, and eminent people who aren't ready to listen to you now, who don't have a moment to think about anything now, will come in front of you in a queue of beggars. They will be very desperate and eager to experience even 1 second's happiness. At such a time, all of you will be stable in your stage of being great donors and donate to everyone. So do you have such intoxication that you are the most prosperous ones in the whole world? At the beginning of establishment, what did people have printed in the newspapers? They said that the Om Mandali was about to collapse, and the father had it printed in the newspapers that Om Mandali was the richest and most prosperous in the whole world. Everyone else can starve, but the children of the Father cannot starve because you have received the blessing of being immortal. Those who are blessed are constantly prosperous, and so you should have this happiness and intoxication for all time, not just for some time. To be immortal in this way means constantly to dance in great happiness, the dance of becoming equal to the Father. Only those who are equal will be able to dance with the Father. To be constantly equal is the dance. So do you perform this dance? Those who are constantly equal to the Father here, while constantly dancing in happiness, will also dance with the Father in the future. If you want to play your part with Brahma Baba, you first have to become equal to him, for only then will you be able to play your part with him. Are you the Shakti's army that keeps the flag of victory flying constantly high? Is the flag high enough for the whole world to see? You are definitely flying the flag, but it now has to be hoisted higher. Everyone's vision is automatically drawn to something attractive. They are attracted to it even against their conscious wish. So now, fly such an attractive flag that everyone's vision is drawn to it even against their conscious wish. In any case, the land is now being transformed, and the sound is now to echo in everyone's ears that if anyone is carrying out a true task, it is you people. They would have no hope in anyone else and would be able to see lamps of hope here. For this, you now have to increase your contact with others, not just to keep in contact at a time of need, but to keep in contact constantly. Continue to enable those who are only in contact with you to move forward. Continue to hold programs for them from time to time. You have to serve every profession so that none of them complains at the end that they weren't told. Therefore, you definitely have to give the message to the people of every religion. The way to be protected from an impure atmosphere is to remain in the Father's company. While living in the old world, do you consider yourselves to be as detached as a lotus flower and extremely loved by the Father? Although it grows in muddy waters, a lotus remains detached. While living in this old world, do you remain detached from the impure atmosphere? You are not influenced by any impure atmosphere, are you? Those who make the Father their constant companion and play their parts as detached observers are always detached. No matter how much water falls onto something waterproof, it would not be affected by even one drop that falls on it. Similarly, are you constantly Maya proof? Or are you affected by Maya? It is only when you step away from the Father's company that you are affected by Maya. Seeing you step away, Maya attacks you. Remain constantly with the Father, and you cannot be attacked by Maya. All of you children have been blessed with the blessing of becoming conquerors of Maya, but you still have to take the paper to become conquerors of Maya. If you aren't able to pass this exam, how would you be called those who have passed with honors? Always remember that you are with the Almighty Authority. When someone is in the company of a courageous person, he remains completely fearless. Here, you have the company of the Almighty Authority, and so, how fearless should you be? Constantly see the star of your fortune sparkling. People of the world are even today speaking about your fortune. So continue to see the star of your fortune. Experience a task as huge as a mountain to be like cotton wool by remaining in the stage of being double light. Are all of you double light? To be double light means not to experience any type of burden. Double light means that you souls, point of light, have no burdens. And when you become angels too, you have no burdens. So either remember your point form or your angelic form while performing actions. Whenever you have to carry out a task, remain stable in this stage and you will experience it to be as though Karan Karavanhar is carrying it out through you. If you consider yourself to be an instrument, you will remain double light. By considering yourself to be a trustee, there will be no burden and there will be greater success. By considering yourself to be a householder, there will be greater effort and less success. So constantly maintain the power of the awareness of being double light. Then a task as huge as a mountain will be experienced to be not even like a mustard seed, but cotton wool. A mustard seed is still hard, whereas cotton wool is soft and even lighter. That is, the impossible will become possible. Acha, the way to make your stage powerful is to have an elevated awareness. Do you constantly have elevated thoughts and perform elevated deeds while considering yourselves to be elevated souls? Your stage automatically becomes similar to your awareness. So, do you have the awareness that you are the great and elevated souls? Constantly check your awareness. Is it constantly that of a special soul, or does it become ordinary as you walk and move around? Constantly remember your occupation of being a Brahmin top knot of the whole world. Check that the tilak of awareness is constantly on your forehead. In a Lokik way too, it is Brahmin priests who apply a tilak. So, this tilak is a symbol of the confluence age. So, do you constantly have your tilak? Maya doesn't rub it off. trikaldarshi. Constantly pay attention so that your tilak becomes eternal and imperishable. Acha, blessing. May you become an embodiment of virtues who experiences all virtues with the balance of the three types of service. Children who remain engaged in service with their thoughts, words, and every deed become embodiments of success. If you receive equal marks in the all three and you have a balance of all three types of service throughout the day, you can pass with honors and become images of virtues. The decoration of all the divine virtues is clearly visible through you. To give one another the cooperation of the Father's virtues, or the virtues that you have imbibed within yourself, is to be an embodiment of virtues, because the donation of virtue is the greatest donation of all. Slogan: if your foundation of faith is strong, you automatically experience an elevated life. Om Shanti.